makes me want to have a bowl. But in other news then again, guys, in across Ireland is that Ireland's failed approach to medical cannabis has been highlighted yet again by campaigners. This time it was done over on Nurture by Nature, which is a CBD company here in Ireland. And one of the CBD companies that was caught up in some of the raids there over the recent months. Nurture by Nature has been up in court now a number of times and has been dragged through the courts because of their part in the CBD industry in Ireland. But I suppose over on Twitter then, Nurture by Nature put up a post earlier today which highlighted the failed approach that we have here to cannabis in Ireland. So I'll pop this up on screen there now for you. 1 second. Boom. Boom, there we go. Sorry, no, this is a bit big. There we go, that's it. So this is over on the Twitter page for Nurture by Nature, but it says, my son has MS and this is the SH1T they are putting him through. He wants cannabis to treat his spasms and pain and they want to give him big pharma poison. We all know cannabis works. So again, in this Twitter post then, Nurture by Nature shared some emails between what I'd assume is the MS clinic and his son. So it starts there by saying, hi Paul, medical cannabis is available with prescription. However, it is not reimbursed by the HSE, so will cost you €200 to €400 per month. On that basis, we are not prescribing it here. The criteria are very strict and it is specifically for refractory spasticity in that the person has failed all other treatments for spasticity. Regards, Sinead Jordan, clinical nurse specialist for MS. So this is the correspondence that patients receive in Ireland when they're inquiring about applying for cannabis medicines. Now, while Paul is probably getting cannabis illegally on the black market and is probably benefiting from it, he's unable to obtain it through the specialists that are there to work with the patients and to help them, you know. So again, highlighting the failure that is Ireland's medical cannabis access program. So again, in another correspondence between Paul and it doesn't say who this is actually with, but it says, I have had time to read back through your clinic letters. In May 2021 at your clinic appointment, Dr. Yap went through the plan on how we should address your spasms. In that we need to show that you have tried a maximum dosing of baclofen and a Xanaflex. It is also important to remember that Sativex is not necessarily any more effective than these treatments. But hang on a second, is it any less effective than these treatments? And if not, then why is it not up there included in the frontline choice of medicines for a patient? Again, these first two drugs mentioned by the whoever is in this email here, I'd imagine they come with some side effects. Again, you know, and they're chemically derived then as well, whereas Sativex, it's derived from a plant. And again, patients could have a preference here over this, and why is this option being taken away from patients? But again, you know, this is because of the Medical Cannabis Access Program, which requires that patients have to try all available medications before cannabis medications are seen as a viable option. So here this patient not only has to try these drugs, but he has to try them right up to the maximum dosing allowed for these drugs too. Highly experimental, like really not in the interest of the patients at all. In early June 2021, your baclofen prescription was increased to 10 milligrams 3 times daily. I will issue with a prescription for 20 milligrams 3 times daily and see how you go on with this over the next 4 weeks. You can start to increase the baclofen from today with the current stock you have. If this fails, then we will trial you on a Xanaflex at an increased dose for a period of time. So again, what you're seeing here is this individual is being experimented on by whoever is in charge of, or whoever's in whoever's care this person is in. They're experimenting on them where they don't really know what the results are going to be. The patients expressed an interest for medical cannabis. The patients probably already, after alluding to them that he's using the cannabis illegally, but still they're doing nothing. They're just giving them the runaround. Here, look, try these drugs. Look, those drugs don't work. We'll up the dosage. That dosage doesn't work. Well, we'll try another drug and we'll up the dosage of that one then as well. We'll see if there's any other drugs then we can try before we'll try you with Sativex, which is not any more effective than these drugs. But well, no, as I said, isn't any less effective. Because if it was less effective, I would guarantee you they would have said it in that paper. Sativex is on the market for a reason, because it's an effective medicine shown through studies that it is effective for patients, especially patients with MS and spasticity related issues. So again, the patients are being failed here by the people in charge of their care. This should not be tolerated any further, and again, I hope some of these patients start bringing criminal proceedings against these professionals, I suppose, in charge of their care, because they're failing them. They're failing to uphold, you know, their rights as humans in that effective access to effective medicines is being withheld. Withheld, why? Show me justification for the withholding of this medication, and maybe then we can get out of the way. But if not, you're committing a crime here. You're denying people their right to effective access to effective medicines, and it's a feckin' joke, like. So again, go over and give Nurture by Nature a follow over on Twitter. You know, I'll try to have them on the podcast there, so maybe they can fill us in a bit more on the gaps there in that story around their son's case. Maybe the son might actually even join us here on the podcast as well, because this is again, this is a victim of this war on drugs. This is a victim of the prohibition of cannabis. If cannabis prohibition never existed, we would have studied that plant inside and out over the last 70 years, and we would probably have not one but hundreds of products available on the shelves for patients, providing them significant relief from multiple symptoms of many different conditions. Because there is many conditions out there with symptoms related to that condition that are treatable by cannabis. It's not a cure for many conditions. No, it's a treatment. It's something that will provide an improvement in quality of life for patients, and they're being denied that because of this stupid bloody prohibition that's supposedly preventing me access to cannabis. But as I know, I have some here. We'll actually top back up my grinder as I say it. You get out an old nug there from the jar. Oh yes, pull out a nice one. Oh, they're all rather small in there actually. We've grinded up all the big good ones. We only got the little bag fillers left. Oh, come on, focus in on the bud, not me. Oh, there we go. That's a bit focused, Fee. Lovely cannabis. This would provide a lot of relief for patients out there. This is a high THC variety of cannabis. It's got some, it's known as critical kush. Forever having this critical kush on the show. But again, you know, it's a high THC variety of cannabis, and I've known patients out there who've tried this, and they said that it's incredibly effective for their back pains. You know, this was grown by my buddy in a spare bedroom in his gaff, like, in fairness, like. And he's able to bring relief to patients out there, patients who their professionals are bloody failing them. Why is it that some young fella who wears a tracksuit is able to grow cannabis and look after patients, but the guys who go to college for many years, trained up as professionals, are not able to do the same thing? You know, their hands are tied because of this stupid bloody law around it. I'd imagine many doctors out there would love to be able to work with their patients and give them access to cannabis, whether it be for their chronic pain or for their chronic insomnia. Shout out to Podge. What's happening, Podge? Hope you slept well last night, bud, and hope you get a good sleep tonight, because you're going to need your energy for tomorrow, buddy. But Podge is just one person out there who suffers with insomnia, and it's unfortunate he can't get effective access to his choice of medicine, you know. So even Podge, and I hope I'm sure he doesn't mind disclosing this, like, but like, you know, Podge, you know, he can't afford to keep up with it, so he's seen himself now to kind of take matters into his own hands, getting educated by the community over on the Percy's Grow Room. And yeah, he's now being self-sufficient. And he's not supporting the organised crime gangs anymore either. Good stuff, Podge. It makes me want to have a bowl.